Well, I told you I had a big announcement, so I reckon it's easier just to come out with it. So let's talk about it. Coming up on Ride with Kev. What's going on, you guys? To the usual suspects, welcome back. To new subscribers, welcome in. Figured I'd change it up since this is such a monumental video for me. But we are in Terrell, Texas. The Lord just keeps blessing me and taking care of me. I guess He protects the weak and the stupid. But we leaving Kansas City, and I told you guys that I had to get home to Dallas. I was trying to get home because we got a whole lot going on over the course of this weekend. And so I was looking at loads out of Kansas City and trying to get everything lined up, and found one going from Kansas City, just outside of Kansas City, over there in Lawrence, Kansas, going straight to Dallas. But everything going in down to Dallas was paying around $800. And I had one pop up going to Natchitoches, Louisiana, that was picking up at Independence, Missouri, which was 14 miles from where I delivered. I delivered that load in Kansas City to Stadium Drive, so guess where I was? Right by the stadiums. And so I was like, all right, you know what? It's going to Natchitoches, Louisiana, but it's paying like $1,200, and not a lot comes out of Natchitoches. So I was like, even if I had to bounce home, that load pays better. It's only 20,000 pounds. I'll just take it. So I got on the phone with the broker and took the load. And as you saw on the YouTube short, and it was picking up in a cave, and he said like the company name like that was supposed to mean something to me. And so I was like, oh, I Google it and figured out it's in the cave, and all the reviews for this place say no 53-foot trailer should ever go in here. This is terrible. This is horrible. Way too tight. And I had a choice. And I've said this before, you can get nervous or you can get excited. It's the same response on your body. And so
what happens when you're nervous, right? Your heart rate starts to go. You sort of get a little tense, you get a little sweaty, right? You have expectation of what's coming, and we interpret that as, I'm nervous. Now, what's the interpretation of excited? Your heart rate starts to go, you're anticipating what's coming, right? You get a little sort of like tense. It's all the same thing, it's the same stimuli. Except these athletes, these Olympic quality athletes, have learned to interpret the stimuli that the rest of us would say as nervous as excited. They all say the same thing. No, I'm not nervous, I'm excited.
I chose, you know what, I'll get excited about this. I'm going to get to go into the caves. I know some of the prime guys with the reefer, they do craft, which is somewhere, maybe the same caves, I don't even know. So I got all excited, and I'll actually post driving footage. I'm actually going to make a short out of that and kind of meld everything together. I don't want to take up time with it. But I went in the cave. I went slow. I had to get out and look twice, but I did it, and I got loaded in like 20 minutes. So I rolled down, stopped last night, rest area south of Little Rock. Rolled into Natchitoches, Louisiana about 8:15 this morning. I had an 8 o'clock appointment, or it was 8 o'clock to 4. It was open availability. I didn't miss my appointment. And I got unloaded in about 20 minutes there, too. I was like, this is sweetness. And so I was like, well, I'll hit the load board just to see. Because when I looked the afternoon before, it was a 150-mile bounce here, 150-mile bounce there, going somewhere around Dallas. I said, I'll hop on there. And it's a company called Bay and Bay. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. They had just posted a load that picked up in Natchitoches, literally 0.8 of a mile. I came out where I was, I went left, 0.8 of a mile went right, I was there. 25,000 pounds going to Fort Worth, Texas. It delivers tomorrow morning at 6:30, 15 miles from where I park. So I'm actually getting home a day early and made more money than I thought I was going to. So this run has been quite a success. It's been a little slow, a little filling it out, but we got it. So we're going to be home tomorrow. So it's going to be about a week before I post a video, or a little bit longer. So I wanted to go ahead and talk about it. And I'm going to preface this conversation with, when I post videos, people give positive comments, people give negative comments, people give advice. And your advice that you give me, or that you give your children, or you give your wife, or you give anybody, is based upon your experiences. It's based on what you've gone through, right? That our experiences form our opinions. And I've always told people, you're never wrong for what you believe. If you believe it, you have your reason, your circumstances, that's why you believe it, and there's nothing wrong with that. I may disagree because of my experiences, but, I'll tell you that story to tell you this story. I know you guys, you hate when I say that, but when I got out of the Marine Corps in 2005, I went to work in sales for a truck rental place. We'll just say that. in 2006. And you older gentlemen, it's hard to believe I have to say that because it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. We had the financial crisis of 2008. And I won't go into all the minutiae and all the details. I'll just say that the company did what crappy companies do, and they laid employees off. That's how we'll save money. We'll balance the spreadsheet by laying people off. And if you went to the strip club with the manager or you were a hot chick, you got to keep your job. If you were married with kids, me and the other two guys, you get laid off. But that's okay. I went to a towing company that had just introduced a new sales program. And it was a small towing company, but it was a major company that had just bought them. And so I was doing great. And the manager there, his brother-in-law lost his job. And so he started towing cars, to make money. He's a hard-working, great guy. He actually was a really good guy. But after a little while, it became very apparent that they didn't like him towing. They wanted him to have an office job. So, right, wrong, I know what's happened. Some things were said about me that weren't true, blah, blah, blah. I get let go. 2 weeks later, the son-in-law is now running exactly what I was doing. But that's okay. I ended up at Matheson Gas. I told you, Lord protects me. That's where I started as an overnight dispatcher, and I moved into load planning. Great company, no problems. But in 2014, I was approached by a brand new company that said, look, we just need help. They knew my wife. That's who she is. They needed help. Can you come in as the warehouse manager? And within 2 months, I was full-blown operations manager. I was running the warehouse. I was running the crews. I was running the trucks. I was running scheduling. I was having the time of my life. Believe it or not, I'm actually a really hard worker. And I can remember that he used these pumps, right? And these pumps were just complete garbage. So basically, we would start a pour. The pump would break. We would bring it back to the shop. We'd bring out the second pump to finish the pour. And we'd stay at work till 9, 10 o'clock at night fixing the pump so that we could pump the next day at 5 o'clock in the morning. It was just, I put blood, sweat, and tears. So much blood and sweat and tears that I brought my wife to that company. And the general manager, who's a complete piece of garbage, I'll just say, and told my wife, and this is a quote here, you're really good at sales, but you're just good at sales because you have boobs. The other man said that to my wife. So I went to the company and said, this is not going to happen. It's him or me. And it was, we brought him in from Chicago, and he has all this experience in the industry, so if you just can't work with him, you're just going to have to leave. And it was at that point where I just got sick and tired of being run off. So tired of putting blood, sweat, and tears because I know how hard of a worker I am to just get run off. Brother-in-law, drinking buddy, whatever the reason. And I'm not playing the victim card. I'm not making excuses because everything happens for a reason. The Lord always takes care of me. But I just got sick of it. So I went, I think I've mentioned before, and I built tough sheds. And I built tough sheds for almost 2 years. But sometimes it's hard to maintain work in the Texas heat. And so I couldn't find workers. And we said, well, all right, that's not going to happen. So I went into trucking. Because again, I've been in logistics since 2006. I was like, you know what? We'll go into trucking. And we had a plan. I'll tell you all the time, you got to have a plan. And I've also said that you only know what you think you know. And that goes for me, not just for you. You know what I like to see in the videos. I can only do the best decisions with the information that I have. So I went into trucking, and when I got out of a truck in November, I thought it was done. I was like, I'll never go back. Owning my own company is just never going to happen. But through a series of events, some things that fell through. I've talked about the company that said they're going to hire me and then ghosted me. Things happen. My wife and I said, you know what, we're doing this. We're doing this. And so what I did is I put on my swimsuit, I went over to the big kid pool, and I went into about my knees, and I still have my arm floaties on. That has been kind of how I feel. Because quite frankly, I don't know if I was worried about a plan B, but as you've heard, supposedly, you know who has a plan B?
You know who has a plan B? Motherfuckers that lose. That's a fact, okay? Every single person that wins big, every single person that you look at, every single person that you're inspired by, every single person that you aspire to be like, they only have one fucking plan, and that is they are going to win or they are going to die fucking trying, okay? All these people out there talking about, oh, well, if that doesn't work out, I'll just go back to this, whatever the this is, which happens to be their miserable life they have now, All right? Those people always lose. And I'll tell you why. There's a real easy reason to understand. Because the people who go all in, the fuckers who burn the ships and leave themselves no other option but success, those people are dedicating all their skills, all their resources, all their energy into producing a specific outcome. And if you're competing against someone who's going all in with every resource they have, and you're only going half in because you're half in and you're half out, guess what? You're going to lose. So you guys out there with your plan B mentality, you need to take that shit, crumple it up, and set it on fire, because all it's going to get you is more of what you already have.
That's who has a plan B. So I'll buy the truck, but if this doesn't work out, I can always just sell the truck and I'm not out anything, right? But the freight market is trash. And sometimes God uses things to open your eyes. And so I start looking, as you're supposed to, is where am I spending my money? I'm saying, if things get tight, if you lose your job, you start going, well, we don't need this TV, we don't have to have that, we don't need 2 cars, whatever it may be. When you start getting into finance, you start looking, what don't you need? And the reason I haven't done a truck tour is because I don't want to give any negative press and any negative opinions towards the company that I'm driving for. They are a fantastic company. But I start looking at the money that I'm giving them, and I start looking at where I'm spending my money. And as you know, and my buddy didn't know this, and I guess it is what it is, but when I went back to start truck driving, I sold the TRX. Because I don't need that expensive a truck sitting in my driveway, right? And so, still had money, we bought the thing, but I had money to get my own authority, but there's no way I was taking that risk. And what the last 3 weeks have shown me, very much so, is that was a mistake. I didn't bet on myself. All the bull stuff that I talk, all the stuff I put in videos, and it came down to it, and I bet against myself. That's the title of the video. Because I wanted to have that safety net. I wanted to have, they can do the paperwork that I don't know how to do. I can run. Everybody told me, oh, you don't want your own authority. There's no brokers that'll work with you. Well, I found 5 of them. They're like, yeah, we work with new authorities all the time. Like, you idiot. Like, oh, trailers are too expensive. Y'all didn't know. There are plenty of places that are selling trailers right now at really good deals. So all of the excuses that I made up, all the spotlighting that my brain did, all the family that tried to help me, because let me tell you, your family and your friends, the ones that you hold closest to you, care about you, they will give you bad advice. They will give you bad advice to protect you because they love you. And I just what the last 3 weeks have realized is I chickened out. And as of yesterday, I filed for my own numbers. I'm done. Done playing chicken. I'm either going to go all the hell in or all the hell out. But it's going to be all in.
I bet it all.
Now, I'm not putting my life, my family in jeopardy of getting evicted. It's not like, oh my God, we have $5. This has to work. I'm not trying to, again, I don't give you guys, bull job. I tell you how it is. I had the ability to do it. I chickened out, and I ain't chickening out now. We are going all in. There is no plan B now. We are going to own a truck, a trailer, our own authority, our own insurance. And this has been an enormous waste of my life and my time if I quit now. So that's the big announcement. I'm still going to be running where I'm at now. If you don't know, I will be walking through. Several people have asked about the process of becoming an owner-operator. Well, now you're going to get to the process of becoming full-blown own authority. Now, I want to have a fleet of trucks. I don't want to be a broker, so I'm not going to go into the broker side of it. But the channel should have a whole lot more useful information, or a whole lot of people that want to see me fail. But I love it. So that's where we're at. We're about to go shower. We're about to go watch the stars. Maybe a little bit for a video, because I'm going to go home, pretty much be home for a week. But then I'll be out running, and we'll keep you updated on the process. For those of you who support me, I appreciate it. For those of you who are my haters, I'll just say thank you. So, God bless. Let's get rolling.